Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. New week, new grace and mercy. Happy Monday. I'm trying to get it together and have a good week. Good morning. Hey, how you doing? So, for those of you who joined me for the first time, my name is Lydia O'Boy, a lactation specialist based here in Los Angeles, and I provide lactation support, breastfeeding support to expectant and breastfeeding families prenatally and in their postpartum period. I support families as they're returning back to work and school, and then I support families who are ending their breastfeeding relationship, whether they are weaning or in the event of a loss. And you can find me all over social media at Lydia O'Boy CLE. You can email me, lydia@lydiaoboy.com, and you can find my website at bit.ly/Lydia's Resources, where you will find all of my offerings and pricing. All right. So I'm honored. I got Miss Ashley Wright watching me. Oh my goodness. How you doing, precious? How you doing? So, I am talking about today. I want to talk about just a few things. I want to talk about the need. Some of you feel like you need these lactation cookies and brownies and teas and things like that. And so I want to talk about how to correctly use them. Okay? Lying in bed, girl, if I could, I would. I'm not even gonna lie. I would still be in bed. So I want to talk about, they're called these galactagogue, these herbal supplements that many of you know about before you know about the technical pieces of breastfeeding. And one of the things I cringe, and I shouldn't be like that, but I do. I feel some kind of way because I watch when celebrities, they announce that they're pregnant, and I promise you, maybe within the first 3 comments, it's a company talking about, can we send you some of our products? And it's like, really? You don't know what her milk supply is going to be like. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're already out there. And I get the marketing business. I get being on top of your game. I get it. But at the same time, as a true supporter of breastfeeding and understanding the lactation process, you have just put out there and you are normalizing the thought that a mom is not enough on her own to be able to feed and sustain her baby at the breast. And it just makes it so hard for me. So, and I get it. You got to get your coins, and I want to get my coins. So I get that part. I get that piece. And I get that you are meeting a need, because that's what business is. Your goal in presenting your products is to be the solution to somebody's problem. I get that. However, in the technical physiological aspect of lactation, you have just created this normalization of this thought that I am not enough, that my body is not going to be able to do what it was created to do, is to naturally feed my baby. Okay, that I am not going to be able to make enough. And so now we have women coming out the gate like, well, putting on their registries, this tea, this cookie, this brownie, this mix for a smoothie, and you don't even know what your body can do. You haven't even had the baby yet. I am now starting to feel questions with, well, should I start taking the teas now? Maybe I should start pumping now. Girl, you 22 weeks. What you trying to do? And so for the doctors and for those who are trying to keep this mom pregnant, they're like, oh God. And so some of them are turning to, we're not even talking about breastfeeding, because there's so much anxiety about it. And I get the fact that you want to be able to make sure that you can provide for your baby. So, and understand that I work with a wide demographics. So when you're looking at some of the lower income moms, their main concern is, if I can't breastfeed, then somehow I gotta find something to feed my baby, right? And if I can't feed my baby, then my baby is gonna starve. So when I'm at work, I hear a lot of, well, I can have my baby starve. I'm not gonna let my baby starve. I'm not gonna let my baby starve. So then we fool around with the rates, right? So when we look at the rates of breastfeeding and be able, not beyond initiation, then we see a lot of dropping off because we're concerned that I'm not going to have anything and my baby's going to starve. Okay? So, and this is just giving you some back history from the professional side of things. Okay? So, it's not that we're haters. We don't want you to use these things. We're just hating on somebody. And we're just forcing people to breastfeed. No, that's not it. It's, we haven't given you the opportunity to show what you can do. In most cases, you can. And I'm working with old data, very old data. This data is probably over 10 years. But there are less than 1% worldwide of women who cannot physically, medically diagnosed, cannot breastfeed. Now, that's worldwide. Now, when you come into the U.S., those numbers may change a little bit. When you come into Los Angeles, those numbers change a little bit. Because now we have things like higher rates of cosmetic surgery on the breast, things like that. And that definitely can interfere with your ability to breastfeed. Not always, but in a lot of cases it can. Either you're going to have a reduced milk supply, or you may not be able to sustain a baby and you're going to have to supplement. But that's not everybody. There are some women who've had cosmetic surgery, and that's whether a reduction or an enlargement, a reconstruction, something like that, where they are able to breastfeed. Okay? And the longer that period is between, you can. And that was like a nice little pigtail. So let me get back on target. How do you use these supplements? Okay? First of all, I'm going to highly suggest that you work with a professional. Again, you know, you have your moms, you go in these groups or whatever. They're understanding and they're well versed in their, most cases, a lot of times, and I'm being generous, in their experience, right? If they are not professionally trained, they may not be able to advise you about what's going on with your body. Okay? A lot of times when I'm working with a mom, and I've been doing this for 10 years, professionally trained, if there is a true issue of milk supply where there's a medical condition, she's on medication, there's an anatomy problem, yes. If there's something like that, then I refer you back to your doctor. There needs to be this partnership. And I know you guys are like, Lydia, you're not that fond of doctors. It's not that. It's not that. It's just sometimes their knowledge of lactation is not where mine is, because the way the system is set up, that they don't have this level of information. Okay? So there needs to be this partnership, and there's some things that outside of lactation can affect lactation. So say we're working with a mom who has lupus. Lupus and the things that affect the body when there's lupus present will affect her ability to breastfeed. Basic things like hypertension, cholesterol, diabetes. Those are just basic things. And just like I said, if you've had a history of cosmetic surgery on the breast, that can make a difference. High-risk pregnancies can make a difference. So if there's an issue, then we need to address that, okay? So, what are we going to do as far as how we're going to use this? You're going to work with a professional. If there's an issue with your milk supply and you're really concerned, let's have a conversation and see if there's truly an issue, okay? Say that you have gotten to the place where you're pumping and you're trying to measure your milk supply by what you're pumping, but the baby is at the breast and the baby is fine. Then again, we're really not having an issue of milk supply because the baby is at the breast. Now, I understand that you need to pump because maybe you're going back to work or school. And this is why I say in my introduction that I work with families who are going back to work or school, because then we can work on a pumping schedule. We can work on getting you together for your return to work, right? So it may not be an issue of a pumping schedule. It's an issue of understanding your output, understanding how the technical piece of pumping works, all right? So then we're going to address that. If we need to, we make the decision that we're going to introduce a herbal supplement, then what we're going to do is that we're going to find the best one that works for you. We need to know if there's any allergies or anything like that in you or the baby, right? And then we need to have a conversation about what to look for. So, because we're real quick, you talk to your friend, but your friend was like, oh, well, I took such and such and it worked fine for me. Girl, you should take it, right? And then you take it, and then maybe you or your baby have an allergic reaction, right? And instead of running that risk, because then you're going to feel horrible, right? Instead of running that risk, let's have a conversation, okay? Let's make sure that we're working on breastfeeding correctly. Let's make sure that we're pumping correctly. So let's investigate what we're going to do. If we're going to make the decision to do this, then let's look, because there's a lot of things that we can do that's not just buy this product, okay? There's some things that you have in your house that we can work on and maybe include into our diet, include into our regimen of daily practices and things like that, that can naturally increase milk supply without having to go buy something. Now, if we decide that we're going to go buy something, a cookie, a tea, a smoothie, something like that, right? Then we're going to use it, and we're going to make sure that we're following their instructions, and we're going to at least confer with the professional. I'm doing this, I bought this for this reason, and my goal is this. At no time should any of the teas, cookies, brownies, whatever, should be something that you should be taking on a long-term basis. A week, 2 weeks at most. And hear me out. A week is normal. 2 weeks is me giving you extra time. And this is for the person who is not consistent. So you're like, oh, Miss Lydia, I need more milk because I'm pumping and I don't have it. But you're not taking it. You took it one day and then you waited 3 days and you took it again. I'm going to give you 2 weeks. 2 weeks and then you need to stop. Okay? So if you don't, if you continue to use it, what ends up happening is your body gets used to it, and then you don't see the results that you're looking for, and that causes more insecurity in the mom. Okay, so let's not do that. You're gonna give yourself 2 weeks, and then you need to stop, and then go back to see what your body can do. And understand that some of you think that you're not getting any milk. I was with a mom this weekend, and she pumped almost 8 ounces, right? Now, mind you, she had been away from the baby, and it was, I want to say she was away from the baby for about 3-4 hours, right? And while she was away, the baby had taken 2 bottles, 6 ounces, right? Now, what the baby takes in a bottle is going to be something different than what the baby takes at the breast. The baby can take more or less depending on how they're feeding. Had mom been with the baby, in that 4 hours, the baby probably would have fed more than twice, okay? And the baby would have fed probably not all at once, okay? So, I didn't hit some fog. So, just because the baby took the 6 ounces while she was away doesn't mean that that's all. That's exactly what the mom needed to pump for those pumpings, right? Because remember, I always say you're gonna pump for every bottle that you offer, right? So whatever you get, and depending on what time of the day it is, you may get something different. So in the morning, you're gonna get more milk, right? She got more milk because she hadn't used her breast in 4 hours. That milk was just sitting there, and her boobs were actually hard. They were full. They were on the verge of being engorged, and that's what she got. Now, mind you, when she was pumping, I made her stop because she had pumped for about 15 minutes. We don't need to pump anymore. What I told her is, you need to make sure that sometime within the next 4 to 12 hours, 12 was being kind, that you need to pump again. I would have preferred for her to pump again, probably within another 4 hours, just so she can have that, pull that other milk out. She was getting ready to get in bed. The baby was going to be at the breast, you know. But I still wanted her to go ahead and pump an additional time because there was 2 bottles that were given. So, top things to remember with using these herbal supplements for milk supply. No longer than a week. I'm being gracious to say 2 weeks if you're not being consistent. You have to use your breast. Do not pop a pill. Do not drink a tea. Do not eat a cookie or a brownie and think, oh, I'm just going to have overflowing milk for forever and I don't have to use my breast. I'm just going to pump once a day and I'm going to be able to fill up a bottle. Let's stop. The bottles that they give you with the pump are 4 ounces for a reason. While you can hook up an 8-ounce bottle, but they give you the 4-ounce bottles for a reason. Part of it is for anatomy because it's really hard to pump with 8-ounce bottles attached to the pump. But yeah, 4 ounces. And I'm not saying that you have to get 4 ounces. If you can pump 2 ounces at each feeding, that's a healthy milk supply. And you'd be like, girl, but my baby takes such and such. I understand your baby takes such and such, but this is for those who are feeding at the breast. Right, your baby is taking that, but your baby is feeding at the breast. So any pumping that you're doing is going to go along with whatever pumping you're doing. So you don't have to have 8 ounces at each pumping session. Do some moms have 8 ounces at pumping sessions? Yes, they do. And I would beg to tell you that those moms probably have an oversupply. Now, if that's what they're pumping every feeding, and I do have some moms like that, if they're pumping that much at every pumping session, most likely they have oversupply. 1, they have oversupply. 2, they are oh goodness, an accident. They have an oversupply, and they are either not pumping like they should be, and that supply is not going to last. Okay, remember what I said. I'm very consistent in my messaging, is that we have to use our breasts. You have to use your breasts. And so usually what I see is moms will have all this milk, right? All of a sudden they'll have all this milk, and then they think that's what they have because, oh, well, I don't have to pump because I have like 4 bags of milk in the freezer, so I can wait. Yeah, that's not a good idea. If you want to keep building up your milk supply, then you need to keep pumping. Oh, well, I was tired. Well, your baby wasn't tired because your baby had to eat. So you got to get up. And I know that sounds to a mom who's tired. They're like, oh my God, that sounds so cruel. Precious, when you put everything together, you have to use your breast. So for the moms who are like, well, I'm just going to pump so I can take a nap. That's nice. But during that nap, you needed to use your breast. That's why I'm telling you, you got to put the baby to the breast. Okay? For those of you who are exclusively pumping, this is all you got. So you waiting, are you talking about, oh, well, I had some milk, so I had enough milk in there for today, and I didn't pump none today. You don't want a milk supply. The cookie is not going to fix it. You need to use your breast. That's the thing. You have to use your breast. The cookie is not going to give you what you're not doing. Milk production works on supply and demand, or demand and supply. The more you demand of your body, the more milk you'll get, and that's in a healthy situation. This is not for that 1% worldwide that can. This is for those of you who do not fall in that 1%. So if you are healthy, there's nothing else going on, and excuse me, you can get milk out every time you pump, then that's what I'm talking about. And every time you're pumping every time the baby eats. And the baby should eat minimal 8 to 12 times a day. Minimal. Sometimes it's a little bit, that's the average. That's the mean. That's the middle. So lower end could be 6, right? Higher end could be a lot more. All right. And I say a lot more. That's during the growth spurt periods. Babies eat more time, and that's if you're counting every latch, right? The baby that's cluster feedings. I consider those, depending on how far apart they are, one feeding. So you need to do that. Okay, so we're going to use these supplements for 1 to 2 weeks. We're going to use our breasts, right? Okay. We're not going to take any breaks. We're going to use our breasts, and we're not going to take any breaks. And then the third one is, and this is going to be the last one, and I'm going to end this. The third one is we're not going to use pumping to measure our milk supply. We are going to pay attention to our baby. When our baby is at the breast, is our baby satisfied? Is our baby fine? Yes? No? Yes. And I'm not talking about an occasional fussiness. I'm talking about overall, can you satisfy your baby at the breast? You really needed to get in there, didn't you? Yeah, that's how accidents happen. So you're gonna really now see, she made me lose my doggone train of thought. 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to use our breasts, right? And we're not going to use our pumping to measure our milk supply. We are going to pay attention to our baby. That's what we're going to do. All right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to pay attention to our baby. And that was my thing. We're not going to focus in a few times when the baby gets fussy. We have to get placed to, especially with young babies. The baby does not like to eliminate. And a lot of time they eliminate when they're at the breast. And then when there's a good latch, then that good latch forces the digestive system to begin the elimination process, because it kind of forces everything out, right? So then the baby is working against itself, right? When the baby's a bit gassy and stuff like that, the baby will be fussy, all right? If the baby is at the breast and their natural instinct is to go to the breast so they can go to sleep, but if they're fighting their sleep, that doesn't mean that you don't have enough milk, okay? If the baby is fussy during the growth spurts, that doesn't mean that it's a milk issue. Even when, and I need to figure out a better way to explain this, even when Aunt Susie comes in with this little 2-ounce bottle of milk and she gives it to the baby and the baby goes to sleep, that doesn't mean that you didn't have enough milk. It just meant that by this time I am overly full, my stomach is packed to capacity, and I have no other choice but to go to sleep. It's the itis, right? And if I was already sleepy and you gave me this bottle, then I'm going to go to sleep. Consider this. If you just need to know, you just have to know, then go on and give another 2 ounces of breast milk. Because honestly, you can keep the baby to the breast. Some of the problems is that you're letting other people dictate how much time your baby should be at the breast, and that's a problem. Because you will never hear me tell you not to put the baby to the breast. You put the baby to the breast, you put the baby on both breasts, and the baby is still fussy, still showing signs to go to the breast. Put the baby back on the breast. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Any of these things that I've said do not point to a need that you have a milk supply issue and a need for one of these supplements, okay? So one of the things that I want to point out, okay, so that's what we're doing, those 3 things. For the supporters who are here listening, please mediate, don't participate, and don't be the person that questions how long the baby has been there, okay? We need to have some encouraging, validating, affirming messages to moms and families who are breastfeeding. You know, instead of be like, ooh, wow, that boy's still eating. Maybe you need to get a bottle. Maybe your milk too thick. No, we're not going to say that. No. You're going to come in and say, yes, that's good. We're still feeding. You get all the milk. That's it. The more you feed, the more milk mommy is going to make for you. That's what we're going to say. We're going to say something like that. You get all that good milk. Ain't nothing, no more. You got the best milk in town. Just get it all. Get it all. That's what you're gonna say. Getting all that milk. That's it. Get all that milk. All that good milk. That's it. Tell mom she's doing a great job. Mom, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. I'm so proud of you. That's it. That's what you do. Okay? Stop interjecting. Help the special people. They come in and be like, you still feeding? She sure is. And she doing an awesome job. That's it. Get loud with it. She sure is. She's doing a great job. I know y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. That's it. That's what I want you to do. Okay? Absolutely. Now, if you have any questions, if I've upset you, like, Miss Lydia, why are you talking about my cookies? Because it's not the cookies. It's not the cookies. And I'm not saying that the cookies themselves are bad. It's how we present them is the issue. Okay? So, if you have any questions, if you disagree, right? Feel free. Comment below. You can message me. Hit me up. Goes down in the DM. It goes down in the DM. Hit me up. I'm okay with that. You can email me, lydia@lydiaoldboy.com, right? You want to find, I don't know who she is. Who she thinks she is telling me about my cookies. You can find me bit.ly/Lydia's Resources. All right. And if you like, I shouldn't have said all that. I want to meet with her. You can. You can. My pricing and services are on my website. You can find me all over social media. So if you like, I want to see what she talking about. You can. You can find me all over social media at Lydia O'Boyd CLV. All right. Okay. You guys have an awesome day. Enjoy the sunshine. Because it's supposed to rain. That's what they say. I need to check the weather again. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. All right. All right. So let's be safe out there. Be safe. Just period. Just be safe on these streets. I know that was very motherly of me. So you guys be good. Do lots and lots of kissing and hugging and feeding and all that kind of good, wonderful stuff with these babies. And I will talk to you later. All right, you guys. Be good. Be awesome.